Good morning, everyone. I'm like looking down, and I know that that's about to pop off, and yet I wasn't ready to pop off. What's up, everybody? Good morning. This is Coffee and Darts episode 65. We don't do one a week all the time, so it hasn't been quite a year that we've been doing this, but it's coming up on that. We actually started kind of doing the live broadcast last January with Dylan and I. And then just doing some other live broadcasts, but actually honing it into Coffee and Darts a few months afterwards. So I'm excited to be on episode 65. I will be interviewing myself. So there's no interview today. We're just hanging out, chatting darts. We're going to talk a little bit about the World Championships. I'm going to give you guys some of my ideas as to who I think is going to get out of the first round, and see where maybe some debutantes might end up doing well. But I'm going to run down that little list and just chat up a little bit more darts that's going on. I know the home tour stuff's going on right now, and I got to be very honest, I haven't paid a huge amount of attention to some of that. I've watched a little here and there, but I feel like I can, in all honesty, I feel like I can get better streams that are similar to the home tour with those like the Bearded Dart Guy and those that are in the YouTube and Facebook world that are doing those. I think they're doing a better job. And I think some of the matches are a lot more fun. In my opinion, I don't know where you stand on that. Let me know. Love to find out. Hey, good morning, Scott. Good morning, Roy. Good morning, Tanner. How are things in Canada these days? Cold up there? What's up, Scottish Lad? And if you guys haven't seen the Scottish Lad little 12 dart challenge, I highly recommend it. It seems to be fun. I'm not sure who's leading that challenge right now, but I know there was a young man out of England, I think, that hit, 3 140s and then 100. And my guess is he's probably leading at this point in time. I'm somewhere average in the middle of the pack, which I'll take. Good morning, Lucas. Real quick, though, I do want to thank my sponsors because I have probably some of the best awesome sponsors that there are. And then, of course, that is the Magicwear jerseys. This thing is awesome. It's super comfortable. Love it. And just the colors and everything are very vibrant. So you guys can kind of see this here. Back. Really, really kind of a cool jersey. Really like it a lot. So thank you to Jen Mounts over there at Magicwear and everybody there at A to Z Darts. Speaking of which, if you need Christmas stuff, you need to head over to A to Z Darts. They've got still some cool Christmas specials going on. They've got one in conjunction with the Championships Darts Circuit, which is with SHOT, my other sponsor. And it's a cool little package. You get the SHOT 50th anniversary board. You get an Oculine. You get a tablet holder. I think there's a surround that comes with it and some other cool stuff. So, and I think it's discounted right now. I think it's 20% off. I know if you use the code CDC dash, I don't remember what the rest of it was. Shoot, I'll have to figure that out during the show. So stay tuned for a code to get the 20% off of that little kit there. So I know that's available. I know the Dart Broker's got some cool stuff over there as well. Sharon and the peeps over there are doing some really cool stuff. So check that out as well. But get your order in now. All I can say is, like, I just got notices today from Amazon about a bunch of stuff that I ordered that's not showing up. They just refunded me a bunch of stuff, so I got to go find it somewhere else. And good morning, John. And yes, Tanner, it's cold. I can imagine because it's like, let's check here in California. What's the temperature? What is the temperature right now? Tell me. I hate when this phone doesn't work. What's my temperature? Oh, it was 62 degrees. Is that what that said? I think it's 62. Yeah, it's 62 degrees. 60 at the top there. Yeah, see, 62 degrees. In my garage, it's probably more like 59 degrees. Yeah, so we're freaking out over here. It was like 54 yesterday. We all thought we were going to die. First full day of quarantine, and if you guys don't understand, here in California, at least Southern California, it's a mess, but they quarantined us. So yes, I went to work yesterday, and so did everybody else. And I got a really great breakfast burrito from the restaurant right next to my dad's office because yes, they were open and they had their tables open outside, and yet we're quarantined. Basically, the sheriff and the police around here said, we don't care. So, -8 for Tanner there. Woo-hoo-hoo. 30 in Boston. You guys are making me feel much better about the huge amount I pay in stupid taxes and other things for living here, because now I feel much better. Thank you. That's why we pay the sunshine tax. But anyway, I want to also thank Shot Darts, of course, because Shot is awesome. They make just such cool barrels. I don't have any right in front of me. They're all over there. They've just got really cool product, and they really have a love for the darts community, which is awesome. Love what they're putting out. And I love their little videos, if you haven't seen them, where they're making the darts, and you get to see how the lasers work and how the lathes work. And it's really pretty cool. The one thing, I always thought that those videos were slowed down to so that we could see them. And I have learned that is full speed. So what you're watching there, so if it takes 45 seconds to do the cuts on a barrel, or whatever they're showing you there, that's legit. And that means a lot, because you got 3 barrels per set. People always complain about the cost of things, and yet they want newer technology and cool things added. But time is money. And so that's part of the reason that things cost that they do. And you'll see that particular barrels that are just a standard barrel that just has standard grooves, nothing artistic in it, nothing, axile cuts or anything like that. Those will typically be less expensive. And the reason for that is there's just not as much work that goes into it. And of course, then there's materials, 80% versus 90% tungsten versus 95% tungsten, and just the cost of those. And think of gold. You can buy a 10-karat gold ring, you can buy a 14-karat gold ring, you can buy a 24-karat gold ring. They're all going to look identical. It's the weights might be a little bit different. The workmanship that can go into them might be a little bit different depending on how hard and soft and the other materials that are added into the gold. But you're paying for that pureness of gold. And so same thing with barrels, because I've heard a lot lately with Christmas happening and the cost of barrels, that seems to be one of the cries out in the market. So 34 in West Virginia. My mom lives in Missouri. And she's like, come visit. I'm like, no, it's cold. And after looking at this screen, sorry, Mom, stay here. You can come here. Come visit me. It's warmer. So I want to thank them. Also want to thank Condor. They just sent me logos. I've got to kind of get them so that they're up on the screen. Speaking of which, I should do this since it's just me today. I can throw this little overlay up and give my sponsors some good love there. So glad I could do that. Again, Shot, Magicwear, Condor, loving those guys. And don't forget Scotcha. Nathan Scotcha, who was on the show a while back, who makes these really cool handmade cases. I know he's pretty backlogged right now on doing that. We're trying to talk him into coming up with some cases that can just be mass produced so that people can have his workmanship. They're awesome. So hopefully that'll happen this next year for him and for you, those that are playing darts. But his cases are really sweet. So if you haven't seen that review of one of his cases, let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. And then we're going to dive into the World Championship. There was a change in schedule. I don't know if everybody saw that. Trying to find this here real quick. But it looks like Gary Anderson apparently came in contact with someone who at some point in time this year had COVID-19, and apparently it's been a while, but he came in contact with them somehow. And so I don't think he's quarantined. I think it's a self-quarantine situation. So his match that was supposed to be on the 20th, I believe, has been pushed to the 25th. I'll have to look that up again here real quick, but I know that his round got pushed back. Maybe it was the 23rd he got pushed back to. That might be it. So that, if you were curious about that, but there's been a little bit of a movement in regards to that. Let me find this video of the Nathan Scotcha design. I'm looking that up right now. Why I'm looking that up, let's talk World Series. That's already over. Let's talk World Championships. Oh, and I also wanted to just bring up, if you guys love this beautiful face, okay, I think it's beautiful and all this, I am now helping the championship dart circuit, the CDC, with their program. So that's, again, we've got a match tomorrow night, and they are in to a series right now, and it's fun because some of their players are headed to England to play in the World Championship. So we're trying to get matches in, trying to potentially get some interviews in, and I get the opportunity to host. Right now it's an intermission. We're still working things out. We're trying to get some programming proper. Once we get the correct programs, I think that's going to expand out. We're going to do like a pre-show with the ability to interview some people. We may be recording those, I'm not sure. And then but I am currently doing a intermission show during the two matches, as we have two matches or three matches on any given night, depending on who's playing. And I believe Bagish is playing tomorrow night. I believe Lauby's playing tomorrow night. I don't know if the Jinja Ninja is playing, but I believe he is. And I think we're trying to get the players that have got to go overseas in for that. So look for those matches next week. No, tomorrow. And again, I'll be hosting the intermission show, talking about darts and stuff. And then we've had some cool matches up on the Bearded Dirt Guide the last couple of days, and then USA Darts production had a really great match as well. I think those two were going on at the same time, so it was like back and forth. I know I had darts on last night, a couple different places, watching some great matches. Dylan was watching with me. We had 3 computers going with matches from all over the place, just watching it. And I don't even remember what we were watching at this point in time. We had a ton of stuff going on last night, but it's just always awesome to have darts on. So I got a question here. Lucas says, so got to ask, is Gary always ornery and on edge? I'm loving his bluntness lately in interviews, but I watched the 2018 final with him and Price. Boy, oh boy, it looked like Gary would have torn him a new one for his stupid bump. Lucas says, we got Bagish, Lobby, Ginger, and Smith. Love Jeff. Yes, those are our folks that are headed out into the wild world of the World Championships. So, Lucas, I don't know how much Gary Anderson stuff you've watched in the years. I have the actual DVD where he won his second world title. They did like a documentary that year, and I got my hands on one, which was a pain in the ass to do because they didn't release it here in the U.S. But I will say, in the stuff that I've watched him over the years, it's like the old man syndrome's been turned on in him. I'll be very honest. He's kind of like one of the statesmen of the sport at this point in time. And he, I think, feels empowered to try and educate the younglings in regards to how they're supposed to act and how they're supposed to be in the world of darts. The thing is, the world has changed some, so there needs to be some adjustment to that. I'm holding my coffee cup up here. I really want to take a drink. Bob Hamilton's already thrown in a prediction for winner. But if you go back to some of Gary's older stuff, especially when Phil was playing, Phil humbled a lot of people. When RVB was playing and had his game was a little bit more consistent, Gary was more humble. There were guys that were there that were definitely better than him. And I think where part of the frustration comes from is in the last couple of years, he had injuries where he should have been the dominant force. It's kind of like the Tour de France. When Lance left, there were players in the Tour de France that felt like they should just automatically be king of the road. And it didn't work out that way. There were other younger people that came in and said, I can be king of the road. And I think that's happened with darts. I think we've seen this transition from players to players, that it was this kind of this handing of the torch. And when Phil left, and Rob Cross, who was new to the sport in the fact of the PDC, took not the mantle, but he won. it upset the apple cart, basically. You know, it was really supposed to go to kind of the MVG and Gary Anderson were supposed to be the dominant forces. I would think that Adrian should have been in that mix as well. He had 2 world titles. His play was decent at that point in time, but it kind of just faltered. It kind of went away. And I don't know how much for the Gary Andersons, the Adrian Lewises, the RVBs, all those that were in there with the Phil era, how much they really leaned on Phil. How much, when it came to a tournament, how much there was between all of them, of this group. And then once Phil left, and this again is theory, once Phil left, they all kind of felt a little out of place. Yes, MVG was there, Michael Van Gerwen was there, and had kind of stepped up to be the guy, but he didn't get the torch from Phil. Rob Cross got the torch, and who was this new kid? And then you saw a bunch of new kids hit the block, and they were killing it. So I think that was a little bit of an upsetting situation. And again, do I think he'll go full dark side at one point? I think he's already he's down that path in a big way. My fear is that he's just going to say F it and quit and just be like, I'm done with this sport. I'm out, which would be sad because Gary Anderson is definitely, during the heyday of the Flying Scotsman, especially those 2 world championships, you go back and watch any of those matches and especially that video, they did not paint a light of him being a dark person. It was much more of a happy person. And when you look at it, I think he was. I think the back injuries have affected him. Of course, him and his partner have a child, they just have one. And so I think all of that's weighed on him. I think that's part of it. And I don't think he likes the fact that these young kids are coming in and putting in their own stamp on the sport. And I think he's just got a little old man grumpy with that. I think he could still play if he really wanted to. And he's shown flashes of that. He's still an awesome player. The Gerwin Price thing showed that you could get under his skin. It showed his weakness, his chink in armor. And a lot of people are playing to that. I think that's the thing. Again, I like him. I would love to see like a seniors tour with these guys, just a 5 or 7 tournament thing around the world where these guys come and play that and kind of bank out and let the youngins play. But hey, that's my thing. So let's get into. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Dudley. Good morning, Theo. All right, Lucas got one last question. He doesn't have to be the last question. You can ask more. Is Price just a tormentor or 2, screaming more than usual bumps? And well, I think, Lucas, if you're talking specifically about that tournament with he and Gary, I really think that put this in the right. Price found the chink in that tournament. I think he found hey, I can get under his skin, because that was one of the beauties of Gary Anderson is he was very pretty calm, lethargic, played his game, didn't get really animated about stuff, never seemed to get overly pissed off about things. You could tell when he was a little irritated, but it wasn't super showy. I think that there was a chink, and Gerwin exploited that and overly exploited it. But he took the win. And then he won it again the next year. And I think there was an understanding that, hey, I need to tone that back. And if you've watched Gerwin play, and maybe it's because there aren't crowds there this year, but he's toned down his bravado for sure this year. And even last year it was toning down. He was stepping it back a little bit because it didn't affect everybody. And in some cases, it pumped them up. I think a lot of players started to use that. And if you look at players that were typically very quiet, that didn't have that kind of rage show when they hit a 180 or did something against him, they started showing it more and they started playing off of it more. And I think he realized it. And so he stepped off the gas a little on that. And he just does it occasionally. And if you watch, he's very, he picks his timing is the best way to put it. He picks his timing as to when he will do a fist pump or a good roar. He may give a good look at the camera or do a little bit just because that's personality. But if you look at him and watch him, he will, when he thinks he's got a foot on a throat, he'll push it a little bit longer or do it more, like 2 or 3 times in a row type of thing. So I think he's learned how to use that much better. I think Gary just, he expected everybody to look at him like they did Phil. That's my guess, is he thought, okay, I'm the statesman. I got 2 world championships. Everybody should fear me. And nobody did. Not like they feared Phil. I mean, that was one of Phil's greatest weapons, was everybody assumed that you were going to lose against him. It wasn't hey, I can, even when he would lose early in a match or a tournament, the next tournament, everybody just went, oh, that was a fluke. With MVG, especially this year, people aren't afraid of MVG anymore. I mean, he did win a tournament last week, the first televised big tournament of the year that he won. Nobody's fearing MVG right now. People are fearing Gerwin Price far more than they are MVG. And part of it is Gerwin is playing phenomenal darts. And that he's got that bravado. And it ruffles the feathers of people. If you look at Devin Peterson is showing more bravado, and he is pounding the 180s. He's playing some serious darts. Whatever he's done in as far as the practice routines that he's been doing has seriously helped. He's killing it. And why did I just absolutely blank on his coach? Dax, help me out here. Why am I blanking on his coach? That's horrible. Oh, Wayne. Wayne Martle. Why did I sorry, Wayne. Not that you're watching this ever, or you'll respond to any of the emails that I've sent you. But Martle's been helping Devin, and I think part of the help has been show the bravado. Wayne knows how to use that. Wayne will tell you exactly how to work someone and find the chinks and to throw someone off, get them to think about you versus the board and their own game. And that's the gamemanship in darts. I don't know how many times I've kind of effed up playing because I'll throw something bad and I'll start thinking more about what I shouldn't be thinking about. Yes, Dax, that's an issue for me. But I am playing much better, Dax. I will have to say I've been working on it. So when we get back after the holiday break here, hopefully we'll have some more to work on with me. But there you go. That's my thing with Pricey. I think he's going to go deep, if not win this year. And it would be kind of cool to see. You would have basically a newbie who won a few years ago in Voltage. He was able to pull out a win, fairly new. Then you get an MVG who comes back to be like, dude, I got my 3rd one. Remember me. And then you get this crowning of the People's Championship champion. In my opinion, Peter Wright is the People's Champion. I mean, he's just, everybody loves him. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him, and he's kind of quiet when he's not Peter Wright, snakebite. Anyway, to have Gerwin come in and win it this year, to have the kind of, I don't know, just that, have him win, just that little bit of historical lineage of this tournament, I think would be awesome. But to bring Bob Hamilton's idea into the mix as far as who he thinks is going to win in Michael Smith, that again would also be a very awesome thing to see, as Michael has not won a televised major TV title of any sort. And he's there. He's on the cusp of winning continuously. He is one person that allows his mind to get in the way far more than it should, because he's got such a great natural throw. It's quick. It's there. He just makes awesome, quick decisions. The problem is he walks away from the hockey and then he goes back and he gets in his own head, and someone does something good and he just can't crawl out of that and let it go. He needs to really find a way to just play the board and stop playing the person. There's a book that I should send him. It's up there. I can't remember the name of it. Where is it? With Winning in Mind. I've talked about it, and it's a great book. It's really the mental idea. It's I don't want to say it was designed for shooters. The gentleman that wrote it was a U.S.'s best long rifle guy for a long time, Olympic gold medal, world champion. And he talks about the mental game, and a lot of it goes into archery. So I brought that over from archery, but it works with darts. And if I didn't have two little munchkins running around all the time, making incredible amounts of noise and never leaving me alone, except for when I do this, I could work the mental game a little bit more. But I will come out here and try and sit in a chair and do my visionary stuff with the dartboard after they go to bed, and I typically fall asleep. So it doesn't work if you fall asleep. So in any case, I think that'll work. But let's get into everybody's chatting on the chat. DPFL, Dart Players of Florida, says it's Michael Smith's time. I think it's Michael Smith should have won that tournament he was in a couple weeks ago where he was in the final. That was his, and he blew it. I think Michael Smith is really he's poised to win, and I think once he realizes he can win, he's going to go off. He's going to be kind of like Gerwin Price, like, oh, wait a second, I can win one of these, and we're going to see him jump up. I just don't think MVG maintains the number one position. And if by some slim chance he's able to maintain the number one position, of course, because they do the pricing for 2 years, that it'll be meaningless. No one's going to look at him as the number one. I think you're going to look at Gerwin Price. I think you're going to look at Michael Smith, especially if Smith can win this. Holy crap. Gerwin and Smith are going to be the dominant force for a couple of years. Peter's always going to be in there because it's Peter. I will say, because of how this year went, it didn't play into Peter's favor, with the crowds. And I think he comes out a little bit flat with this championship. I know he wants to back it up and be able to say, yes, that for him would be I truly am the champion when you can back it up the next year. That's huge for any champion at all in anything that they do. You included, me included. If you win once and you never win again, it's like, was it luck or did I really have it? And so I think Peter's looking for that. But my gut feel is that Peter falters quarterfinals, semifinals. I don't think we see Peter in the finals this year. I think part of it is no crowds or limited crowds. That might help, actually, is the fact that there's going to be limited crowds. That could change that perspective. We'll have to see how he does once he's there. He will struggle sometimes his first round, which is second round for others. And that could be a telltale sign as to where he is mentally. So it'll be interesting. Could you imagine a dart person being like Larry Bird? No. That's like Gerwin Price at like 8 feet tall with a Gary Anderson attitude thrown in with it. That's scary. Everybody thinks Larry Bird's like the sweetest, nicest guy. Larry Bird was not on the court. He's kind of like a Peter Wright in a sense. The Birdman was a dominant, scary force. If you go back into basketball, we could go there a little bit, but yeah, sweet guy off the court, within reason. I have heard stories from people that know him. I have a buddy that worked in sports stuff, did some sports casting and things like that, and knew he was kind of an a-hole off the court. And my understanding is a lot of those guys really, once they get to a particular place, just don't realize, the reality of that. Hey, that person that's working for you is actually a human being. They're not just there to serve you. There's just a different mentality once you get to a specific level. But the trash talking would be awesome. And I would love to see that more in darts. That's the one thing, Lucas, I think we're missing here. Is trash talking. I don't think we have enough true trash talking. These guys haven't been taught how to trash talk really well. They'll make comments, after a match, like, oh, I wasn't shooting so well and blah, blah, blah. But there's no like, hey, I'm going to get you. There's just not. There was a little last year. If you go back to the Peter Wright, Gerwin Price match in the World Championships last year, There was some trash talking prior, and that was actually publicized that there was some trash talking, and it kind of got out to the Aki, a little bit of a nudgery if you go back and watch that. And I don't think Peter was thrilled. I think Peter got to the, hey, we're now playing, so the trash talking stops. And Gerwin was like, nah, man, I come from rugby world, man. Trash talking, we run that all the way through. And so if you go back and watch that, it's pretty interesting. And the game did change right there. Like, I think Gerwin went, oh, okay, that's how it is. And you see his demeanor change. But I think Peter was just on. He was like, look, dude, I got to win this thing. I don't win it this year, I'm never going to win it. I think that was his mentality. And he won it. And he got the big trophy, which is awesome. So who do I think is going to get Michael Smith snakebite in the finals? That'll be interesting. It depends on how everything works out. They may meet semifinals, but yeah, that could be, I don't know. That would be really, really an interesting final. I have to say, I think snakebite right now, I think snakebite wins that if that's the final, Bob, just because Michael Smith gets in his own head. I don't think it was this tournament 2 years ago, but it might have been where he broke his hand hitting a wall because he was so mad at what happened. Sorry, I'm reading some comments here. So Lucas getting some Tiger Woods stuff in there. Bob Hamilton agreeing. Cool. Just reading through some of these. Let's see. What's Larry say? I don't believe anyone is feared like they used to. Yep. Too many people have stepped up. I totally agree. I don't think that there's that dominant force. If anybody's got it right now, it's Gerwin. I think there are the fear factors with Gerwin, but it's not as, or I'm sorry, not Gerwin. Yeah, Gerwin. Where am I going with? With Pricey, not Michael Van Gerwen. Gerwin Price. See, gosh, man, they need to change up some names around here. Well, that's why they have nicknames. Okay, the Iceman. He's got, I think there's more of a fear factor when you come up against the Iceman because he's been playing hugely dominantly cool. But what about the Wizard, Simon Whitlock? Holy, hitting the 180s. I mean, just what's been up with him in the last couple of tournaments? He is in form to just crush it out. He could certainly, if he's got that form and he can maintain the mental advantage that he used to have, go back 7-8 years ago, he could win this. It could happen. Australia could get a world title there. So don't rule him out. I don't rule him out. Tony, I don't think MVG gets past third round. I'm going to say it right now. I don't think he gets past third round. I will be surprised if he gets past second round. His first round, second round for everybody else. I will be surprised if he gets past that. And then if the next round, I think he goes out. Depends on who he ends up playing. I don't think MVG gets into quarters or semis, or I just don't see that happening. But I know he did well and he won that last tournament, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So let's talk a little bit about the World Championships, what we got coming up. Because, of course, it is, let's see, next week, next Tuesday, the 15th, we start the World Championships. And, of course, with everybody with their stay-at-home orders, which I still have to go to work. I'm still watching darts. I don't care. I'll watch it at work, just sit in my office and watch it and be like, I'm quarantined. Leave me alone. But here's what we got going on. So to start it off, we got Steve West against Amit Gilawala. I'm totally butchering names. I'm sorry. I'm American. We can't read. I will say that I think Steve West pulls that out. I don't know this other gentleman. But I know that West is not afraid of being, doing the TV thing. So I think West wins that for sure. And then we have Steve Beaton against another gentleman that Dioga. I'm not even sure. And I wish they put country stuff up on here. I apologize, everybody. Steve Beaton wins that. The Bronze Adonis. This is a guy I think goes deeper into the tournament than anybody will give him credit for. But the Bronze Adonis, I don't know that this is his last year. I think he'll go another year or two, especially if crowds come back. think it's the love of the game. It's the love of hanging out with the guys. It's the love of playing for him. But I have a feeling his game is going to be on point enough that he gets a little bit deeper into the tournament than anybody thinks. I think he wins that one for sure. Jeff Smith against Kenny Berry. Now, Berry is a phenomenal young player that really has game. Jeff Smith has game as well. It just depends on whether he's able to bring that into this particular thing. That's a coin flip for me. I'm going to go, it depends on crowds too. Crowds are there or not. I'm going to give a slight edge to Mr. Smith just because of the age difference and just his abilities to understand. Playing it, on a stage like that. So I'm going to give it to Smith, but that's a coin flip. Then to round out Tuesday, which would be evening, of course, we got Peter Wright. So you have, of course, the current world champion is going to be playing West. I'm going to call that. He's going to play West. And this is where Peter has a propensity to falter, is playing against someone who was already played. But I think in this case, being the first night and he's going to be jacked, I think Peter Wright wins it. I'm curious as to what Peter's going to wear. I'm going gingerbread. I think he's going to come out gingerbread man. He's done elf. He's done Santa. I'm going gingerbread. I don't know. Or maybe he could be like Mr. Time or, Father Time could do that one and say, hey, we're scrapping this damn year. Let's get out of here and go do something else. Could be. And then we got Wednesday, December 16th. We got some first rounders. We got Ryan Joyce against Carol Sedlick. I think Joyce wins that. Ryan's been playing phenomenal. I think that's going to be that's easy. Ross Smith against David Evans. I'm going to give the edge to Ross Smith on that one. I think he pulls that one off, but that again is going to be that close one. William O'Connor against Niels Zonderveld. Again, sorry if I'm butchering names. I'm going O'Connor. I think he's a good dartsman, and he's going to walk into this with confidence, and I think he does well with this. I think he's not going to go super deep into this tournament, but he will do well. He's either going to go super deep because his game is on. He has the mental capacity to do that, or he's going to get like second, third round and bounce. But I think he wins that. Then we have Chris Dobie. Chris Dobie's at round 2. He's going to be against Smith or Berry. I think if Berry pulls off the win on Jeff Smith, Berry beats Chris Dobie. I called it here. If Smith wins, it's a coin flip between Chris Dobie and Smith. I think that's too close to necessarily call, but I'll go Dobie on that one. I'm going to call it anyway because that's how I did roll. Then we got Max Hopp against Gordon Mathers, and this is in the evening session on December 16th. I'm not going to probably roll through all of these. You guys are like, Matt, shut up. This is getting crazy. I'm checking out comments here real quick because I wasn't seeing them. I do want to get to the Americans. I definitely want to get to that. It's going to be a horrendous story. Lucas here. Baggish versus the Jinja Ninja. That would be really interesting. And I think that Matt has a great chance to go deep into this tournament. I really do. And Baggish is playing incredible, great darts. I don't see either of them in the world in the finals. I just don't. But I have been wrong previously. It happens occasionally. So let's get back to this. Max Hopp against Gordon Mathers. Normally I would say Hopp's got it, but this year the Hoppy just hasn't been very hoppy. So I don't know if it was the bit of fame that Max was able to get in the last year or two that has helped him kind of. Maybe he's got too much bravado for his pants, if you know what I mean. He needs a little humbling, But I'm going to say Gordon Mathers wins that. I'm going with that. Callan rides against James Bailey. Now, Rides has played he had a really good tournament there. And I think he's gonna come off of that. And I think Callan wins that. So I'm pulling for Callan on that. Adam Hunt against Lisa Ashton. It depends on which Lisa Ashton shows up. She doesn't fear the guys in any way, shape, or form. She doesn't look at it in any, different. It's all going to depend on which Lisa Ashton shows up and how Adam deals with it. There's not going to be the crowds that we had at one point. So that's going to play a little. That's kind of a coin flip. I'm going to give it to Ashton. I think Lisa shows up with the attitude that I'm going to win. I got to win one. And so she's going to do it. And then to round out the night, we got Glenn Durant against Beaton or Portela. I think Beaton's there. I know Glenn's kind of faltered. If he's been able to correct that, he could win this tournament. So I'm going to pull Glenn out of that one. But I think Beaton's going to go further into the tournament. That one's kind of a coin flip. Again, this is tough, man. Why they make me? All right, I'm going to revert myself and say that Beaton gets to round 2 and then loses because Glenn's going to take him out. I think Glenn's got a little bit of something to prove, and so that gets into it. Where are our American folk? I want to jump into there. Ryan Searle against Danny Lauby. Okay, so that's going to be on Thursday evening. Do we have any Thursday morning? Daryl Gurney against. That's going to be Daryl Gurney against O'Connor, and Gurney's going to lose. Gurney just is not there these days. So we get the Ryan Searle, who won a home tour event last week and is looking solid. I think he takes Danny, and Danny, don't take any of that personal. Love you, man. I'll just be point blank honest. I think Danny needs more one-on-one practice, and the home practice doing the whole Dart Connect thing has hurt his game tremendously. And I think he just doesn't, I think he comes into it a little bit flat, and Ryan's on fire right now. So I think Ryan takes that. Let's get into Friday, where I think who we got playing there? Oh, Luke Humphreys against Paul Lim. That's going to be awesome. Young man against the old man. Woo! That's going to be fun. That's a coin flip. If Paul Lim comes playing Paul Lim, that's going to be awesome. And then you got Wadey against Rides. I'm calling that. That's going to be Rides. I think Wadey wins that. And you guys know Wadey's always my back pocket winner. Okay, so we get into Saturday. We got Steve Lennon and Daniel Larson. That's going to be a good one. So Daniel is a shot player who actually is a great dartsman. Steve Lennon, of course, has been playing really well as well. That's going to be a great match. Then we got Scott Waits versus Matt Campbell. I take Matt Campbell. I think the Ginger Ninja is going to get some depth into this tournament. I think he definitely wins that one. Where's Baggish? Baggish isn't till the evening session on Saturday, December 19th. Andy Bolton against Hedman. That's going to be a good one too. But we got Damon Hedda against Danny Baggish. Woo! That's the game of the night there in the evening session. I don't care about the MVG against Murray or whoever he's going to play. That, for me, is the game of the night, is going to be the Hedda against Baggish, because Baggish is on fire, but so is the Heat. So that's going to be pretty awesome to watch that one. Man, I got to pick one. I got to go with the American because I'm American. So I'm going to – Baggish has been playing really well, and as long as he – doesn't allow the stage to become an issue. Of course, Hedda's, that for him is going to be a little bit more like home than for Danny. This is Atomic there with the water. I'm going to pick Baggish just because I got to go with my boy, but that's a coin flip. That's going to be a good one. If Baggish shows up playing like he has been, he takes that. I'm excited to see that one. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Oh, look, Matthew Edgar, of course, from Edgar TV is going to be on Sunday, December 2nd. It's 2nd, December 20th. I think Edgar gets out of first round. That's going to be a good one to watch. Excited to see that. Any other really cool things here? So the Gary Anderson that was supposed to play, I guess, on the 20th got bumped to the 23rd. I'm not sure if I think maybe it was Johnny Clayton that got moved to his spot. So that might have been. Adrian Lewis, against Baggish or the Heat. That's going to be a good one on Tuesday, December 22nd. If Baggish wins and gets to round 2 against Lewis, he beats Lewis. That's for sure. Wow. That's going to be Devin Peterson against Larson or Lennon. That's another good one. Peterson wins that one, though. I think Peterson could be that dark horse that comes in here and takes his tournament. He's got game. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait until we get into that next week. After that, that's going to be some great matches. But so there's some of the people I think that are going to pull it off and get some wins. I think we're going to see a few upsets in the first round, but not a lot of them. Let me get back over here and see what you guys have been saying, because I was looking at a completely different page. The ass will be the guy who knocks Price out. Bob, getting spicy there. You think the Snake's going to knock down the Iceman? I don't know. Snakes don't like ice. Could be interesting. But yeah, Asp is a solid player. I like his barrel design too. Actually like it better than Price's design. But I'm going to say, Asp, if Asp can just step it up another notch, get another gear going, he could be a dominant force. But right now, it's like, where do we go? The dominant forces that we normally think about in darts have kind of disappeared for the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting, especially hopefully in 2021. God, please allow just everything to kind of, but with the possibility that we're going to see a lot more, I don't want to say back to normal stuff, because what is normal? And if you go to the people like my grandparents, they don't think anything's normal that I've ever done. So normal is relative. But I think if we get back to where we have people actually in and we have crowds around, I think we'll see some adjustments. We've seen some people really be able to step up this year that may not have, because of the crowd thing and the idea that a certain person should win. I think this year has really upset it in all sports. I mean, look at what the Padres did. I mean, that was stupid. And then they screwed it because this was their one chance to win a championship. But outside of the Chiefs, who, we expect to win the Super Bowl, of course, look at the Steelers, man. What the heck? They're 11-1. They shouldn't be, by no means. You look at their I would say stats, but that's not correct because their stats says there. But I mean, they really shouldn't be where they're 11-1 and technically ahead in the AFC. So yeah, threw some football in there. That's right. But it's just a weird year. Let's see, America, Lucas. That's right, America. 3 players that will have to drop out due to COVID. Thanks, Bob. Yes, it is possible, Bob, that COVID could totally F this thing up. Let's hope not. And we're going to leave that right there. Baggish, Hedda, I think that's great. I think that's going to be awesome. And yes, Bob, I totally agree with you. Danny's got everything to beat Hedda, other than the fact that Hedda is going to feel like he's at home because he's been playing against some serious top talent on stages like this year. So Niels, let's bring this in because, of course, we got to bring some soft tip in for Roy. As Roy says, more on the network for Grand Board than Nexus. Nexus has got the screen attached. So we got into talking about the different boards. And guys, I need to finish up some reviews that I have been working on. I got a pile. Let me just... A pile of stuff I've started reviews on. Just a pile of stuff, including this bad boy, which I just got in. The new, what is this? What is it called? The ALX from Target. I got in the soft tip, both the 21 and the 20 gram. I started a review on these. Got to get that done. And of course, for Sharon, Sharon sent these to me. They are her husband's Italians. Started the review, actually did the full review, went back to cut it and edit it, and there was too much crap from the kids in the background because the kids have been home for 2 weeks. They're back in school, so I'm getting all this stuff cleaned up and reshooting what I need to, and then I need to finish the Grand Board 132, which is a trainer board for soft tip, and then I started a review against the Grand Board and the Nexus as to like pros and cons between the two. So that's all coming your way in the next 2 weeks. All of this stuff will get done. And yes, Bob, Devin does have a shot for sure, as long, again, as he doesn't stumble over his own 2 feet mentally. Go Pack, go. Really? You're going to bring the Packers into this? But I will. Hey, Lucas, check this out. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. I am not a Packers fan, but I own 1 share of stock. So I can say I am an NFL owner. That's the whole reason I bought it. Is I'm an NFL owner. So I got one of those, but I'm not a Packers fan. If I had to go to the NFC, like if I had to choose, like someone said, hey, I'm going to kill your wife unless you go to an NFC team. That, man. Okay, no, I wouldn't even hesitate. But I'd probably pick the Packers. I like the history of the Packers, and they're a good team. And I talked to a nice lady from Wisconsin yesterday, and it was kind of interesting. We got onto it. And so now we're into football, and Roy's got the Jets suck. Can't even beat the Raiders? Come on. Anyway. Hey, the 132. Yes, Roy, I got the 132. It's been sitting here. I've looked at it. I've started to kind of get the review stuff going, and I got to finish that up. But kids are now back in school for 2 weeks, and then they're out of school for 3 weeks. 2 weeks of Christmas break, which we all used to get, and then 1 week to quarantine before going back to school. I don't understand. Just put them back in school. But yeah, so I've got a ton of stuff from the review side coming your way. And I apologize, Sharon, for not finishing up. I'm actually reviewing both the Talons because those are Larry's current. And then I have a set of the soft tip Eagle 3s that I'm going to do a review on. They are still available out there. I know that's not the current barrel, but we're still reviewing this. What else do I have here? Just so you guys can see. I have some shot stuff I haven't done yet. Here's the Tony Alcinas, which are pretty sweet. I need to finish those. And then I have the last of the Zen lineup, the Dojos. I never did these. I realized that. And I'm like, let me get a set of them so I can finish that up. I have the Suzuki's 80%. I actually like these, I think, a little bit better than the other ones. So we're doing this. We got some blackjacks. So I got some soft tip in here for you, Roy. We got the blackjacks from 180. These are actually pretty cool. So those will be up, reviewed. I got something from Unicorn. It's the Adam Hunt. These are pretty cool. See if that'll pick up. Those seem pretty cool. I got these in 2. These are new from Harrow's. It's the Swarm. Nice vivid blue. It reminds me of, they had another barrel that was blue, and I can't remember what it was. I reviewed it at one point. And then I got this sucker in, which I'm kind of happy to take a look at. It's the Tactical case by Shot. And then I've got a Target case coming as well. They're new. It's basically their same case with just new designs on the outside. This is actually a new case for Shot, the Tactical. They've been doing these individual single set type things. This is a double set die. So look for all that stuff in the next, I probably have 3 weeks, 4 weeks worth of stuff that'll be finished up this week. And we'll get it all edited up and out for you guys. So now we're into football talk, dude. Let's do this because we can go Chiefs, baby. Let's go Chiefs. So we get we'll get Mahomes in here. My homie. He's going to throw it to this guy, Mr. Travis Kelce, which I love that I have those guys in fantasy football. All right, put those guys back. All right, so we got to wind this show down. I gave you guys some of my predictions coming up. I'm curious where you guys think in regards to who's going to win this sucker world championship. Who's going to get out of round 1? Who's your favorite? Who's your pocket guy that you think could come around and win this? Daniel Booth, hey Matt, I hope I'm well too, but I'm doing all right. Got a little a little just because it's cold in here, a little snottiness, but I'm healthy as can be. Either that, I'm gonna croak, like just peel over and die, and then my wife gets everything, and she'll be good to go. Let's just put it that way. You know something's up when your wife's like, "Hey, you got to make sure you got enough life insurance to take care of me and my boyfriend for 10 years. I mean, me and the kids for 10 years." I mean, you know something's up when that's she didn't say that, but that's actually been Mahomie screwed me this weekend. Well, no, Lucas, what happened? Mahomie didn't screw you. The touchdown that never happened screwed you, unless he screwed you in the fact that he played well. I don't know if you guys are football guys. I know some of you are, but yes, the Mission and Win More launches were great. There's some really cool stuff coming out, Larry. You are correct. Bringing it back to darts. Thank you, Larry. But hey, did you guys see that Hill touchdown, non-touchdown? That was crazy. Like, I don't think there won't be a player from here on out. The ball will bounce 3 times and they'll grab it and they'll go, "No, I scored a touchdown. Review it." Man, that was, I mean, if you had Hill on your fantasy league, you got to be shooting yourself, man. I'd hunt Hill down for that one. Whenever you get the ball in the end zone, it's a touchdown, buddy. Anyway, back to darts. Hey, I actually got to land this plane because kids are back in school, so I got to take kids to school and get some work done and finish filming some stuff. Niels is thinking about doing a live review on a set of soft tips. That's an awesome idea. That's a great idea, Niels. I'm going to steal that from you in some regard. I've thought about setting up 5 or 6 cameras while I'm doing a review to give a review of what a review is like. And I just never got around to it. But that's a great idea. Niels, I won't steal that from you. Run with that, man. The other thing I just want to bring up is I think, and speaking of Niels, that was an awesome interview. Niels, thank you for coming on the show. That was great. And then, of course, we got to play like the next day you and I played and the Dylans played, which was cool. Dylan still talks about that. And I finally found a pen so that we can sign a jersey and send it to your Dylan, Niels, because the jersey I had was dark. And so I had to find a white paint pen to get that done. So that's on its way to you. And then Dynamite Dave, what'd you guys think of that? That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Dynamite Dave, I believe, is coming back next Tuesday. Who won out of the Dylans? Dylan won, Roy. Dylan won out of the Dylans. Which Dylan was it, though? Neil, can I brag a little bit on that one? So my Dylan against Neil's Dylan. My Dylan, literally, they were playing cricket. Literally, last dart in hand, last round. So we were playing on the Nexus. The Nexus gives you, I think, 15 rounds. So it was 15th round. My Dylan was down. Last dart in hand. Last throw. He had the bullseyes open. He hit the bullseye to get like 3 points ahead of Neil's Dylan. So my Dylan won the first international Dylan match, but we're going to have another match at some point here soon. And we'll let you guys know how that goes. Maybe we can get that on air and you guys can watch the Dylans play each other. So I am changing up softwares on how I do this, and the new software should allow Neil and I to do that and show everybody the Dylans. We'll do some international Dylans play. They're both close in age, and they both love the darts, and they're actually both really good. I think Neil and I both stood back and went, "Oh, I don't want to play either of them because I'm going to lose." And then I believe Neil and I went 1-1, and I think we left it there. So, guys, thanks for hanging in. But I want to bring this back up. Back to Dynamite Dave. Hopefully you guys like that. I think Dynamite Dave's going to be back on next Tuesday so we can talk World Championship, get his opinion on some of that in regards to World Championship and some of the questions you guys asked today in regards to players, and get his point of view from watching players and what he thinks may be a problem or not. So look for that. I believe next Tuesday, Dynamite Dave and I are talking about that one, trying to get that one in for next Tuesday, because it'll be right before darts actually starts. It'll be a couple hours before, I believe, and we'll get that on, and that should be fun. So keep an eye out on the channel for some really cool reviews that are coming your way. And then we're going to be talking darts throughout the World Championship. We might do a couple quick live shows like this, maybe some little 15, 20 minutes, and just talk about the day, what happened, and how bad I was or how good I was at picking who's going to win. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I got to run kids to school. Got to do all that stuff. Thanks again so much for hanging out, talking darts, chatting about darts. And let me know if you got any questions. Do my best to answer them, whether it's darts related or if it's Chiefs related. You want to get into football, we can do that because we're world champions still. We'll see what happens in January. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. See you later.